circumstances, the age, and the gender. So unless a school district has a policy in place that says we prohibit our school officials from conducting strip searches, that then if there's no policy, just like if there's no law, you can do it. If there's no policy, they can actually do it. And some have. So we're going out there, school district by school district, requesting that they enact the same policy that Saucon Valley has, and Allentown, and I think Salisbury. And this is going to be a big thing for us come September. We believe that the students, we think we can teach the students that they actually have a Fourth Amendment right, that old Constitution, you know, that dusty old book that they've been told is irrelevant, is actually out there protecting them and their right to today. So I think there's an education there, and it's an emotional, passionate issue. We should get parents, grandparents involved, and that's a good example of a local issue that we might consider.
Tom, are you aware that Lehigh Valley Commentator, the electronic, we published your Lehigh Valley Tea Party?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I know
that was published and we sent it out, so I don't know how many people saw it.
It's to go into these little groups that Dan's talking about,
Yeah.
the newer, small
Okay.
ones, the new small ones, that's something that might energize them as well.
In brief, Schuylkill Township, where I live, our garbage bill is really of little use as far as information of what we're doing to fight it, except the boilerplate of here's how you fight it. Nobody cares about whether you're paying 16 bucks more because you don't live there. And it's only 16 bucks, even though it adds up amongst the whole township. On the other hand, unless you're some kind of a pervert, the idea of some bureaucrat stripping your 13-year-old son or daughter and groping them, like you said, emotional. And what's more,
I'm
these are
going
the
to just
kind
try
of
to bring
things.
it in again. These
Briefly.
are all perfect. And even through this thing, it's a school issue. It's a Pennsylvania school issue. That's not just local. It can be disseminated everywhere, and everybody can pick up on it. And hey, I wonder if we have it. That's what we want. We want to get people involved. So.
And the best part is, just to finish up, if you can get your local legislator, whoever that is, on record, I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of the liberty people we have are going to come down on the side of the Constitution.
Sure.
Anybody who comes down on the other side, hammer 'em. We may not be able to get them on 76 because that's a complicated tax issue and a lot of people can't follow it or don't care to. But when it comes to your grandkid or your kid getting groped, and they come out in the paper and say, well, I don't see a problem with that. I think it's a great idea. Good. We got you. Now get reelected.
And there's the thing again. We put that in the paper so that everybody knows that. Make them say something, make them vote. What Gio always says. It's all we can do.
That's it.
And hassle them. So.
If we're going to do some of these local issues like this, wouldn't we have to give out the language of what we would like written as the
Yes.
policy?
Yes, and there is. It's out there.
Yeah.
What's out there?
Well, Saucon Valley has it. Allentown
And
has
what
it.
did they say?
There are multiple.
Did they say they definitely aren't going to do it?
Yeah, no
Yes.
strip search. The
No
new
strip
policy, it was a complete reversal from where they had started only 2 or 3 weeks prior. Where they were ready to go with it, where they ended up was enacting a no strip search, that it would, any situation that would require a search of that type, they would have the local police conduct that. And police, you see, they've got different standards. They've got probable cause standard rather than reasonable suspicion. So that's the policy.
And I'm trying to reel it back in again. That's great. It's perfect. This is exactly what I hope this group would be able to do through stuff like that. Get that message out. Let them know. Because what involves one person, oh, it's a local issue. Probably somebody else's local issue is the same thing. There's really not that many things that aren't. But okay.
Just starting with that issue, being successful with that issue, showing parents you can be successful with that issue, hopefully will open the door to being able to do something about the education that's going on in the buildings.
Right.
And having parents speak up about this, I think it's wonderful.
No, absolutely. The biggest thing is you get people involved. I
Yes.
forget which one was talking about the local issue, you know, and a couple people got together, we had the same thing, you know, to get excited, to get involved. You wanna keep them that way, you know, and letting them know, hey, there's something else you can work on, you know, keep it going. And if it's a win, it's a win. We need wins. Yeah, it shows those people, don't worry about them. Yeah, they're elected, people I think are afraid to speak to their legislators and everything like that. If you can break that, they're off on a roll. So that's, I hope, what we can do. So, as far as an action issues committee, again, I think the same thing like everybody else. I think I have it somewhere else. Maybe 3 issues. That's probably pretty much for like our group to maybe try to get involved. Your local groups can do all kinds of anything they want, but like I say, when you say we the people, I want them to shudder. You guys are doing a great job that way. You're not saying we the people or anything like that.
Chairman, I move we establish an action issues committee. So moved.
Okay, that's been a motion made to establish an action issues committee. Anybody second that?
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded. Any discussion? Any more discussion? Okay, do we want to pick people now, or just that we want to establish that?
Let's
there will be
establish a
one?
committee,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there.
We'll take a vote to establish the Action Issues Committee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, the action issues committee, is there anything that alternates? Because I'm very concerned about the Supreme Court decision on decom marriage and also the most recent court,
And that'll have to be
protesting.
taken up
Will
with
that
the
be-
committee.
Will that be something that
That
you
can be
will
brought up
consider?
by, now people can start thinking about their issues.
I know, but is there anything off limits? Is that the type of thing, is religious issues?
Nothing's off limits, whether it'll be.
Yeah, I wouldn't think
permitted
anything
or
is
not.
off limits as long as it scores good on the Red Fox score.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes everything grow. You know, you don't want to pick an issue that, you go knocking on the door and they slam the door in your face or something like that. So, it has to be a real
Yeah,
good.
Red Fox format is pretty much.
I don't know, is there anything else down below here? Okay, yeah, the Skype kind of thing. Another thought, if we need this to grow, obviously, look at the size and how many people came to this meeting. For whatever reason, all kinds of stuff, it's summertime, everything else on top. People can't make it, but if we had some way electronically that they could, I don't know, people in the know that know electronics better, we could probably Wi-Fi this and Skype it out. People from the state could join in and all that kind of stuff and help, or at least know that something's going on. It'd be nice maybe to work on something like that, because guaranteed, not everybody's going to make all these meetings, but maybe in the future they'd look at it, or they could join in if they had time. Any ideas on that?
Like so many other things, I think that that's something that we'll work toward, but there's some very early questions. So far, we've been video recording. Great. Do we have a place where these videos currently get uploaded to, and people within our group who were not at the meeting can go view them? I think Tom has done some in the past, but now Tom's involvement is, maybe he won't be able to provide as much time meeting as possible, so how are we going to handle that? That'd be my first question. And then a comment would be, these days it's pretty easy. You can plug a device right into an appropriate camera and do a live broadcast right up to right up to a streaming service. So we could ultimately be streaming live, and of course the streaming service saves a copy for people to watch later.
Oh, yeah. Otto?
All great points, but I want to go back to what Ray had said. He's got 100 and some contacts, and I believe you told us a couple of weeks ago that some of them are in the western part of the...
Well, they're all over the state.
This is a great example. If we have Skype, if we allow Skyping of the meetings, or as Tom said, live action feed, now we're connecting. They're attending our meeting without actually being there, but they're knowing what we're doing.
Bryn?
Skype is what, you're on a screen and you're talking, you can see them face to face. How many computer screens do you need?
I don't know anything about it,
You know,
unfortunately, that's the
if you got
trouble.
100 people Skyping, how many computers do you need here?
One.
You can do it with just one.
Why not a conference call? I'm on a conference call every Thursday night, and there's like hundreds of people on that conference call, and, you know, just everybody gets a number and.
That's different than Skype though.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know why we need to Skype.
Yeah, I just said Skype just as an idea of, you know,
Conference
there's
call.
probably, yeah, conference, I don't know what's available. So,
School boards, at least East Penn, have done Skype meetings. They've got people on vacation and they're attending the meeting. They're Skyping from God knows where. But they're participating in the meeting because they can speak to the issues as well.
It's a live web conference call.
whatever would be
Video
the
conference.
easiest thing, whoever that's in the know on the electronics like that, it'd be nice to figure
Yeah.
out what would be
There's a gazillion of
a
them.
good way, yeah. Use the trouble with others.
But-
Anyway, that was a thought that I had, and I think that's probably
I
one of the
think
only ways.
It's a progression getting
Rich,
there.
are you raising your hand, Rich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your first question. Okay, Tom can't be here today. So I'm videoing this. This is going back to him. And he will work out and get it out to everybody.
Okay,
That's one of the agreements that Tom and I have,
okay, good.
okay?
So we're covered there, at least for the foreseeable future.
Right.
He has it up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Right. Oh, yeah.
There's a website for that. I thought everybody had it. Maybe they don't.
No, I don't remember there being.
Done.
Well, do you want, I think it would be good so that people somehow that are on part of this could access that and see what was going on. Like this would, people like.
Can we make it that password protected too?
Yeah.
I don't know, any,
I don't know. I don't know if you could set a private channel.
Yeah,
Why
on
don't you just
YouTube?
put this up on YouTube.
Rich is saying it already exists on YouTube, and yeah, sure, you got private channels.
I guess the discussion is we don't want everybody to see what's going on, or enemies, whatever, you know. So, but is there a way that people that are part of this, that aren't here now, can access it and see it?
On that, there's a special link that you must go to. If that link goes to you, you don't give it to anybody else. They can't get it. He sets it up on a special link.
Well, anything that's up there is out public, pretty much, no matter what, somebody can get around it. But
That doesn't bother me at all.
yeah, I never worry if, I don't.
That's the
worry
reason you
about
have the Second Amendment.
Very
The
good.
Second Amendment protects the First.
That's it.
Yeah, and then I just had issues to work on, you know, different things, which we talked about already through the meeting. Okay, this is just some stuff, my ideas, again, paycheck protection. There's a site the state has, BA Legislate, you know, and you can get updates on it every day, and stunningly every day there's new stuff that comes out. And, I don't know, it's the state government website. I'm gonna click on that, just to see if it works. Can we- Yeah, maybe. You gotta get the,
Talk amongst yourselves.
You know, I do want to say something about wins. At the federal level, we did have one good win down there on the Import-Export Bank. Now, if we can keep the Senate from trying to tie it back onto the transportation bill, we'll be okay. But so far, we're winning that on June 30th. That thing was put to bed. The problem is, they never put in legislation how they stop it, except they're just defunding it. So that's what they gotta work on who they're gonna have collect the money. I say just give it to the IRS, they'll collect it, maybe.
Collecting everything else.
We had another win this week. with that horrible abortion video with the body parts that came out, a little lunchtime discussion between these two nice Mengele ladies. A lot of emotional pressure on Congress, and this really innocuous bill came along that was going to just authorize the Treasury to mint a commemorative coin, sell it, and give the profits, just the profits, to breast cancer research, which is, who doesn't like that? But it's Susan G. Komen, and it was breast cancer research, or whatever they want to use it for, through Planned Parenthood. And in less than 1 day, even the sponsors of that bill backed off. And that died. It's not getting out of control.
Yeah, a lot of those things are emotional things that are pretty quick. A lot of the stuff we want, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But any win we can use, yeah.
It reinforces our power over them.
Yep.
And gives us more opportunities to put them on the spot.
If anything, that points out how you can change stuff. If the people get active and start going, bang. So we just need to be able to get more people. Otto?
I wanted to ask, 76, I saw everybody's head basically shake. Yeah, that's an important issue. Right now, it's starting to die down when in fact we should have been in a strong position. Rich, I know you've been in touch with a lot of the legislators in Harrisburg. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes.
Because I think we need this, we need an action item at least today.
Yes.
Get started.
The politicians in Harrisburg are leaning towards the people that contact them the most. And there was an article sent out by Dave Argel. It was sent out by Dave Baldinger. Did you all see that? There was a major mistake in that. I was the only one that called to correct it. Nobody else did. I've had an in-depth conversation with Tom Cottadrione, and it was kind of interesting. This was in the Reading paper. Some bills never make it to a vote. This was in the Reading paper. The question is why? The good ones don't get to a vote. 76 is being fought, but it's being fought on incorrect information.
And this is how we can try to square things away that way and keep the pressure on them. Again, we have inside information contacts that know what's going on, and we just got to back that up so that we can.
Yeah, the lobbyists are winning. The bottom line is the lobbyists are winning because they're there every day. Every day. Now, I would like to ask you the question. How many of you contacted a legislator this past week? How many contacted 2? How about 3? How about 5? Different ones.
But I didn't say nice things to any of them.
You don't say nice things to any of them?
No.
Oh, I do the reverse.
All right.
I say
Good
very,
cop, bad
yeah,
cop.
Right. I say very nice things and then turn it around on them. An example to that, where I mentioned earlier, Benninghoff put up Pennsylvania taxpayers deserve better article in the paper. This says nothing about 76. But guess what we talked about? 76. That's where I take it all.
That's why that's a good one to push is one of the main couple issues. That would have the best benefit for everybody. But for some reason they keep fighting it, so we just need to keep the pressure on. That's what we can do. Lynn?
So I would need to know what the false information is so that I can contact the representatives. And for me especially, I need to know so when there's a fight back from the school board that I can at least talk intelligently about it.
Yep.
So I need to be in touch with you so I know the points.
Yep. I'll give you a quick...
outreach committee kind of thing where we have that information that you come and get and provide. You have your talking points. At least that's what I would like that.
I'll give you a quick example. Let me give a quick example of that. On PCA, on the call-in, there was a senator on there debating with Dave Argel. Senator was from the western part of the state. There was a call-in about 76. The senator said, in my district, 76 is going to be bad for my constituents. Is it? He has lower income. I called his office up and I asked, where did he get that information?
Are you talking about Argel?
Well, Argel was on with a senator.
Which senator are you talking about?
One from
Senator?
western part of the state.
Okay,
Okay? Argel didn't defend it. Why, I don't know.
I can tell you.
Okay? But what had happened was I called his office. I said, why do you want to discriminate against your constituents? The office said, what are you talking about? I said, if 76 passes, settlement costs drop 30%. That makes it easier for them to buy a home. Payments are 30% less. That makes it easier for them to qualify to buy a home. The average rent in your district is $808. Why do you want to have them stay in a row home when they could buy a $165,000 home for the same money? I said, this doesn't make sense. He said, I never looked at it that way. They don't have the facts. And that was a Democrat. But he agreed that bill, when we were done, he agreed that bill would help his constituents. I said, then I expect you to co-sponsor the bill and agree with the bill.
That's the kind of pressure that hopefully we can put in. Okay?
Can you, when those type of things happen, can you immediately get them out to all of us through email?
I never read his emails, so.
Oh, you never get email? But
And it's been brought up too that that's the action committee. You know, the action committee could do stuff like that, disseminate this to everybody, so you can keep on them. You know, it keeps it in your forefront so that, uh-oh, yeah, maybe I can call my rep today
can you do that
on
now
this.
when you go to them?
Oh, I can send some of that stuff out.
Okay, good.
I also have
Need
a
everything
lot
else
of
set up,
people
so-
doing research with stuff like this for me. Okay? I don't network across myself looking for articles what the legislators write. I have people looking for them for me and sending them to me to give me a reason to call them. I want a reason to call them to put them in a corner.
I wanted to just bring up maybe a couple things, minimum wage, go on that minimum wage. We're following a lot of the rest of the second. What do you mean? Second one? Yeah, nope, it's happening. This is a site that the state has, you know, for the legislative stuff, and it kind of tells you what bills they're working on that day. And this might be, they usually have it written as like a memo, which kind of gives you the gist of what they're talking about. Tells you what the guy's name, you can click on it, goes right to the person that's sponsoring it. And then, I believe in raising the threshold of
Prevailing wage.
yeah, that's not what I was thinking of. If I would
John?
maybe go back.
John?
Yes, sir. Dan.
With the Action Issues Committee, one thing that's important to consider is not just does it have a statewide impact or does it have an emotional impact, but what secondary impact is it going to have? And that's why those three that you put up there really make sense. Obviously, Second Amendment, because that protects everything else. But right to work is the key to passing property tax reform. That's it right there, because it's the lobbyists, but the business lobbyists there's very few of them who really care that much about this, and they're not spending that much about this. They're willing to go along with whatever works and pays the bills, and they don't care that much. The ones who care a great deal and are spending a fortune are the unions, specifically the teachers' unions. So if we became right to work and they lost, just like all the other states that have done this, 40 to 60% of their members in a month, who wouldn't even pay fees unless they chose to, who would possibly come up with a new union within a 90-day period and start addressing different issues and not following the status corrupt agenda that the PSEA follows, that automatically guarantees us a win because all the opposition evaporates. So we're looking for those wedge issues that can affect more than one thing at a time and that have broad support. Right to work by itself, good support, not broad support, okay? 76, the same thing, once people get it, but still it's money, it's numbers, it's down the road, it's in 2 years I might be able to afford a house or a vacation on the money I'm saving, okay? You combine those two things, and now you've got something that has a lot more power. But if you find something like, and these bastards who are behind this want to strip our children.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we need to come up with a good take on everything so that we can force our issues.
Exactly.
Nobody's doing it. So I'm hoping that that we be the push behind it. People would join in. We need to win something so that we can show that you people had an effect, you know, and it didn't take much and you had to work together to do it.
One of the things that a week and a half ago, Monday, we went out to Harrisburg to a meeting with the Pennsylvania Leadership Council. They hold it quarterly.
Yeah.
And they had a panel of people there, which you would think would be on our side, but this panel actually knew nothing about 76.
See, this is always
and it's the suits that don't know nothing about it, that we're not out there educating.
Either that or they're trying to steer it away from it, you know, whatever. We have to get them focused again too, so all it needs is pressure. Again, this is the one side, one of the bills, and it's saying that, you know, you gotta give this living wage to these medical people. 15 bucks an hour. It sounds great, but you know what minimum wages are, you know, okay, and why are we going to give it to them and not to everybody else? So this is the kind of legislation that happens on a daily basis. Whether it's going to go anywhere or not, I don't know, but money.
John, just to go off of that is just one part of it. The other part of it that the governor did, because I had a small company, whatever, looking to expand, and what we were going to do is provide therapy services to people to keep them in their homes. Well, what gave me a kick in the gut was the governor has allowed the home health aides to unionize. You know what that does to a company like mine? You just kind of go out of business because I don't want to have to deal with that. We were paying them.
He had his ass handed to him by the court.
No, they're still able to do that. I'm telling you, still able to. They want to get these people organized, and it stopped me dead. Totally stopped me dead. The second thing is, Rich, what you just said in terms of, you know, even the legislators or whatever, and this is what was going on, and you send me stuff, I read it. The problem sometimes is that you got the info and you got the knowledge that says if you contact your legislator, make sure you give them 3 points, and these are the 3 points if you hit on that. Because then what happens is we're all then joining in unison to say these are the 3 points that need to be driven home. And I would say all the issues or whatever, you know, you got to come up with several points or whatever so that they know that we know and don't argue with us because we know it and we'll come back at you. I like the fact that we're talking about whether or not they're giant wins or small wins. We're talking about it. We need to do that, to give a few minutes at the end or whatever to talk about this, because it becomes like, well, tell me a win. Well,